Hi, I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV. My channel is dedicated to helping victims of narcissistic abuse get free and stay free. Before I get going with this video, I just want to take a moment to thank our friend Wendy very much. Wendy, thank you for your donation to our channel's PayPal account. I really appreciate it. I think for each and every one of us, when dealing with a narcissist, there is that line, that point of no return, where the mask has fallen off. We've gone as far as we can go with this. We've come to recognize that we are literally trying to nail Jello to a tree, beat a dead horse. It's over. It's just over. And for me, at that point of realization, when I really came to recognize in that split moment, I'm not doing this anymore. It was pretty frightening. I mean, I really felt overwhelmed, quite horrified, unsure of what the future was going to look like, but I knew sure as shit that this chapter of my life was over. Now, like so many of you, I couldn't just pick up and leave in that moment. I had to prepare an exit strategy. I needed a plan. I recognized that at that point, everything I had been doing for the last 5 years was an epic failure, and I really didn't want to step into another failure. So I really did sit down and strategize. I planned an exit strategy, and I want to talk about that today. Whether you're still living with your narcissist, or have always lived with the narc, or have been hoovered back and now find yourself in a really bad situation and leaving has become your only option again. Well, I believe leaving is the only option for any of us. I do understand that there are people that advocate for finding ways to cope. Well, I don't want to cope. I want to live my life. Why do I want to cope with evil? And as you guys know, I absolutely believe them to be demonically possessed. So why would I ever want to learn to cope with a demon? I mean, I want nothing to do with that. So I knew I had to go. I know many of you have come to recognize that you have to go. And though many people have literally, left, driven away, ran away, got on the bus, with the shirts on their back. I have kids. I know many of you do. I've got a dog. This was just not going to be possible. So I really did need a solid plan. And in addition to that, I think subconsciously, maybe a little more than subconsciously, I come to recognize I had come and gone many times from the relationship. I'd been hoovered back. I end up leaving again every time, obviously. I think I came and left 7 is an average. I'm feeling like it was 9 times I had come and gone. But every time I would leave, I'd go rent a place, which was financially exhausting and, physically exhausting, having to move, set up a new home only to get hoovered back and just play that game over and over again. And I knew that I was done. I was leaving once and for all. And I felt at that point he had used me so frequently, had taken advantage of me so frequently. I was kind of set on making sure I was going to have success when I left this time. So I didn't want to just flee, leave myself in a really bad situation, not having the money to do that, the means or resources to do that. So I did kind of think that if I, stayed there, I would, be under his roof. It wouldn't be costing me money immediately. It would give me a chance to save and stash some money away. And I had recognized at that point that since day one, he had been sabotaging me, very, very intentionally sabotaging me. So I knew that the sabotage was real. So one of the first steps to any successful exit strategy from a narcissist is shut your mouth. I know you can be biting your tongue. You just might want to say to him, hey, screw you, I'm leaving. Not a word. Not a word. This is the one time where you cannot let the narc know what you're doing. I simply can't stress this aspect of the exit strategy enough. Now, there are going to be times you want to just scream, I'm leaving you, you piece of shit. You can't do it. There are going to be behaviors and actions that you're executing that are going to imply you're leaving. I mean, when you're planning on leaving, you're doing stuff that, well, looks like you're planning on leaving, and you will likely get questioned about this, as I did. And Trevor would say to me, are you leaving? And I'd say, of course not, darling. I love you. I adore you. Why would I leave you? I would never leave you. I'm just putting some of my things in storage, because there's not a lot of room here at the house and I'm not using these things anyways. And that was one of the first things I did. I decided I wasn't going to say a word because I knew my exit strategy depended on my silence. The next thing I did was I rented a very small storage facility. I believe it was about $40 a month, and slowly every week I started to move some things into that storage facility. The most obvious things first, like my fabrics, my sewing machines, because he made it impossible for me to sew in the house anyways. So that was the stuff I got rid of first. And again, when he questioned me about it, I just said, no, this stuff's in the way and we can use the space, and why should you be burdened by it? I just made it sound like I was doing him a favor, and I got my personal things out of there quickly. Now, another thing, of course, at that time, it was the summer. So I also removed all my winter clothes, boots, and things like that. And that too was fairly easy to explain because they were seasonal things and they were out of season at that time. And I was just trying to make more room in the closet kind of thing. So I don't know if you're going to have the financial means to get a small storage unit, or if you have friends or family that has, a few feet of space in a garage or a basement, someone you trust where you can put these things. I would make bloody sure that you don't tell them, just in case the narc is able to get the information out of them. Tell them the same thing you're telling the narc. You just need to store this for a short period of time because it's taking up space in your home. Offer them $20 for the storage or whatever, you need to do. But it's very difficult, it was difficult for me, and it could be very difficult for some of you as well, to just do a massive one-day move. And a massive one-day move can be very overwhelming, and when you're all stressed out and feeling sick, and so many of us had physical illness. I was riddled with physical illness. I was exhausted. I wasn't sleeping. I was literally hallucinating. Oh my goodness. So if you can gradually, get your stuff out to one place safely, securely, and I used a storage facility. That's what I did. So by the time I actually left, a lot of my stuff was already out of his house. So in addition to sabotage, and that's very, very real, so expect it. The narcissist is also going to be completely willing to steal or destroy your things if they think you're leaving. So if you've got family photo albums or keepsakes or things that are very dear to you, particularly if the narc knows they're dear to you, there is a high risk of these things being stolen or destroyed. So make sure you get those things safely tucked away. The narc suspects for 1 second that you're leaving. They will do everything in their power to extort money out of you, steal your money, and limit your financial resources. Now, there was a great tip left in the comments from yesterday's video. I thought it was brilliant because I know so many of you have every single dime manipulated by the narcissist. You have no money. You are absolutely 100% financially dependent on them. And this tip is, every time you go grocery shopping, buy a gift card. Buy a grocery store gift card or a drugstore gift card or a gift card that will be useful to you down the road. Now, if you can, slip a $10 gift card onto every grocery bill and you're going groceries, 4, 5, 6 times a month, this could really help you down the road. If you can sneak in a $20 gift card, I'd go for it, because you know what? They're going to do everything in your power to stop you. They are using every resource they have to harm you. You are at war and you need to fight back. You absolutely have to disengage emotionally. Expect they are going to say horrible things to you. Do not be caught off guard when they say horrible things to you. Do not engage in debates or any type of conversation, because you are going to be overcome with gaslighting. Now, I cannot stress enough the severity of gaslighting, and I encourage you to research gaslighting, as I have. Gaslighting is a technique that's actually used by military interrogation teams. This is a form of psychological warfare. This is an aggressive and violent attack on someone's mind, someone's sense of reality. This is a very real thing. This has a very long and profound impact on people, and this will spin you around and lead you to a point of utter and total confusion that could ultimately incapacitate you and absolutely wipe out your exit strategy. So you've got to do everything in your power to keep your mind intact. Do not engage in gaslighting. Walk away, shut your mouth, don't say a word, because guess what? You're not going to win anyways. There is no way for you to have any positive outcome from the gaslighting or engaging in conversation with them. It's always going to end badly for you. They're playing a game. We don't know the rules. And why, engage in a game that you don't understand the rules to? Ultimately, the playing field is completely unlevel. You don't stand a chance. None of us stand a chance. I don't care what you think you know. It's not going to work. So disengage, save your mind, save your soul, save yourself. Okay, so back to the money for a minute. Money is going to be extremely important. You're going to need money. You're going to need to stash money. If you're in a situation like I've been in where Trevor would just take my debit card out of my wallet. I'd get to work, go to pay for lunch, and he had my debit card. I'd go check my banking online, and he was at the casino withdrawing money from my bank account, and this happened very, very frequently. So I would strongly recommend that you open a second bank account, just a savings account. Don't accept the debit card. You don't need it. You don't need them to find it. They don't need they don't need to know about this account. Now, how are you going to get extra money? Yesterday, I did the video about the zipper pulls. I'm going to continue to do videos like that, suggesting ways that you can earn a little bit more money on the slide where the narc doesn't have to know about it. Things that are small, compact, that are not all over the house or in their face where they suspect you're earning extra money. Now, if you still have a job, and bless your heart if you do, because, I was able to hang on to my job pretty much halfway through the exit strategy, which was pretty good. I wasn't feeling well. I was really struggling at work. My boss was calling me into the office pretty frequently. I was extremely distracted. I looked a wreck. And I know for many of us, we reach a point of, physical impairment where, we're just not suitable for public viewing anymore, as I had. I was a wreck. My hands were shaking. I was stuttering. I was an absolute mess. So, I talked to my boss about it many times. He kind of knew what was going on. He had met Trevor. He knew he was an absolute loser. So he was pretty good about letting me stay on. There was a lot of work that I could do there at the facility without really being in the public eye so much. And, maybe you just need to talk to your boss if you still have a job. Now, if you don't have a job, you still need to earn money. So please take a look at yesterday's video. I'm going to continue to make videos like yesterday's video in the event that you're going to be able to muster up, the strength and the courage to get some DIY sellable type crafts made, create little pop-up stores in other stores, attend farmers markets and things like that. Now, you can even tell the narc that you want to, attend some farmers markets and stuff. Trevor knew that I was stashing money because, of course, he, over the years, basically knew what my income was. And now all of a sudden, all I'm saying is I'm broke, I can't. No, we can't afford that. No, I'm not paying for that. No, I can't contribute to that. No, no, no. So, he would say, well, where's all your money going? What's going on with your money? I would say one of my sons had some extraordinary expenses I had to help them out with. My mom had some extraordinary expenses, just other things, I had this old bill I'd been kind of neglecting. I was going to pay that off, so I started to stash some money. And of course, he was suspicious because I had always contributed very, very generously, overly generously within the relationship. And that stopped. That absolutely stopped. So I had gone from, us going to pay for groceries and stuff and me immediately pulling out my debit card or cash to me just standing there, arms folded, looking at him like I got no money. And I really, really tightened up the money. So yeah, if you have that opportunity, if you're still working, if you are now actively contributing to the relationship, stop it. Just stop it. It's their turn to pay. You've paid enough, and turn that over to them. Pretty much every time we walked into a grocery store during the exit strategy, I said to him in advance, I hope you got money because I don't have any. And I absolutely stopped paying for things. And I really encourage you to do this if you have been the one putting out the most money. Want to do a breakdown of what your estimated cost of leaving is going to be. Now, if you've got a car, it needs repairs, calculate that in. If you're going to be driving away, figure out what your estimated gas costs are going to be. You're going to have to rent a place, so start looking. Now, in Canada, we would look on Kijiji. In the States, you got Craigslist. I'm sure every country has got, an online marketplace that you would go to check out rentals. So have some idea of what your overall cost is going to be. If you're going to need to hire a truck or hire people, definitely include those expenses. Now, you can save money with that. I was able to, of course, save a lot of money with that because I had a pickup truck, my son had a pickup truck, and I do have 5 sons, so I could rely on them to help me move my things. If you don't have, human resources like that, you may have to incorporate, the cost of hiring someone into that. So make sure you got a pretty clear picture of what that's going to be. Now, if you figure, it's going to cost you $5,000 to move, get reestablished or whatever it is, and you think you can stash, X amount of dollars every month, just factor all that in, calculate that out, so this is going to take you 4 months, 5 months, 10 months, whatever it's going to be. Just divide that by the amount of money you need and know that that's how long it's going to take. That's how much money you have to get stashed away every month to stay on track with your exit strategy. And again, I am constantly looking for quick and easy, fun, low-cost crafts that you can make. And I'll tell you, the handmade sector is huge. It's a multi-billion-dollar sector of the retail industry worldwide. So I am looking for very clever ways that you can get some money stashed. And I'm going to continue to do that. Part of your exit strategy should include checking out government resources. Now, I know we don't want to have to depend on the government, and where I was moving to, there wasn't a lot of, resources available. But if you do live in an area, where there's food banks close by, make sure you know where those things are. If you do plan on moving to an area where there may be, legal aid available to you, in the event that you're going to need a lawyer or there's going to be property division issues or these sort of things, check out what is going to be available to you once you get there. And some of these resources could be very valuable to you while you're planning your exit strategy, especially if kids are involved. Make sure that there's going to be help there when you get there. It could be subsidized housing, food banks, maybe there's church organizations that offer clothing if you're looking for a job, or help with resumes or any of these types of things. So if you have decided that you are going to leave and go to a particular area, make sure whether or not there's going to be any type of help available for you once you get there. If there's any possibility of rekindling old friendships, someone who doesn't know the narc, if you've had strained relationships within your family structure, but you can rekindle some relationships to get some help. If family or friends have a room that you can rent, utilize that, help you get out a little bit quicker, at least a launch pad from which you can then, get back to work or start a more successful life, because none of that's going to happen while living with the narc. So really start to, dig up friends from the past, family members that maybe you've been estranged from. See if there are any resources available to you, and for God's sake, stay locked on. Do not let your mind be drifting off to, oh, maybe this can work, maybe I can tolerate this. You deserve better. You didn't do any of this. You are a victim. You were taken hostage, and now you need to break free. And if you stay locked on, if you set really good boundaries around what will you'll allow to happen to you, expect the worst. Do not be caught off guard by it. It was, surprise, like the shock value. Trevor would do something, I'd be caught off guard completely. I would feel like I got hit in the head, from something he'd said or done. I was completely overwhelmed, caught off guard, but as soon as I recognized that this piece of shit was intentionally trying to hurt me, I came to expect the worst. So it was just rolling off me like water on a duck. I really didn't care anymore. And when you set yourself up for the worst, to hear the worst, to see the worst, it's not going to have the same sort of impact on you. No, they're never going to be remorseful. Every word they're saying to you is a lie. So expect them to lie. Expect them to try and hurt you. Expect that they're cheating on you. Expect that now they might suspect you're leaving and they are very actively, going back to the narc harem, see if they can drudge something up, or they're very actively looking to replace you. This can be very painful, but expect it, because they all do it and they're all the same. Nothing good is ever going to come of being in a relationship with a narcissist. In fact, it is just going to continue to wear you down until you, like many others, me included, reach a point of suicidal thoughts. You got to get out of there. And if you stay locked on, if you stay committed, if you stay focused. Now, when I consider the amount of determination that I injected into that horrible relationship to try and make it work, if you could muster up 1/10 of that determination to make it work, to get the fuck out of there, you will get out of there. Thousands of us have gotten free. And yeah, it's a bit of a bumpy road, but nothing compared to being with one of these things. I'm going to continue to do videos on the exit strategy. The world is changing quickly. I think for any of us that have, kind of woken up, been unveiled to the weirdness of the world right now, it is absolutely imperative that each and every one of us get to a safe place, get to a place where we can reestablish ourselves, become successful again, and feel good about life, so we can make good choices for ourselves. And guys, I love you lots. I'm going to continue to do videos on the exit strategy. And if you are feeling stuck today, if you're feeling like there's, a hopeless situation in front of you, I promise you, there's a way out of this, and you're going to go on to survive and thrive like so many others have. Guys, love you lots. I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV, and I hope you are having a great narc-free day.